everybody, how are you? Hello everybody, how are you? It is time to start our day, it is time to work and play. Hello everybody, how are you? Can you guys tell where we are today? Do you see what's up here? We're going to do some apple picking together. You ready? Let's go. This is what an apple orchard looks like. It's rows and rows and rows of apple trees. All different types of apples. Some are yellow, some are green, some are red. Apples grow on apple trees. You can see the leaves and the branches on the trees here. They start as buds and then become flowers, and then the apple comes. Sometimes apples are up so high that you can't actually reach them with your hands, so they have special sticks that you put up. It has a basket. You put the basket under the apple and you give it a pull, and the apple comes off the branch. And let's take a peek. There it is, apples inside the basket. That was so much fun going to an apple orchard. Have you ever been to an apple orchard and gone apple picking? If you have gone apple picking this year, raise both your hands up high in the air. That was so fun. If you've ever gotten to use one of those really cool apple sticks, put both your hands up in the air and wave your hands. This was my first time. I've never even seen one of those sticks before, but it really made it easy. When the apples were so far high up in the tree, I was able to just use the stick, put it up there, give it a yank, and I had apples. It was so fun. Speaking of high up in the tree, can I see your apple trees? You make a big apple tree over your head. Way up high in the apple tree, 5 little apples smiled at me. I gave that tree a great big shake. Down came the apples. Let's take a big bite. There, great. If you like apples, give me 2 fingers up in the air. If you like red apples, give me 3 fingers up in the air. If you like green apples, give me 4 fingers up in the air. If you like yellow apples, show me 5 fingers up in the air. All right, my favorite are the red ones. I like the red ones, but to me, all apples are really yummy and delicious. So you saw apple trees and you saw apples on the tree. How do you think they get there? Where do apple trees come from? How do things grow out of the ground like that? What do we need? We need seeds, and I just happen to have a couple of, they're really tiny. Can you see those? Oh, there goes one. I have a couple of apple seeds here. Now you can plant an apple seed in the ground and you could take good care of it, water it, let the rain come, let the sun shine on it. It takes a very long time. It takes about 15 years before that tree will grow nice and big and produce apples for you. So farmers do that, but there's another way they do it. They could do something called grafting, and they can get apple trees that way, where they use part of a tree, an apple tree that's already there, and they connect it to some roots from another tree that had been there a while back. You know, they actually use tape and glue as part of their process for that. Isn't that kind of interesting? I thought that was really interesting. So apples come from seeds, right? Okay, I have 4 pictures here. I need your help. I don't think my pictures are in the right order, are they? Let's see, let's go down the line. First I have a tree. Then I have a hand putting seeds in the ground. Then I have a tree with apples. And then I have a little bit of a bud coming out of the ground. That's not the right order for that, is it? That's not how an apple tree grows. What do you think should come first? We're going to do something called sequencing. We're going to put these in order. The first picture, the second, the third, and the fourth. So which one of these do you think is the first step? Which one? Tell me when to stop my finger. Which one? Which one? This one. Good job. First, you have to put the seeds in the ground. So let's take this picture. There's that cool Velcro sound again. We're going to put him first. All right, who's second? Tell me when to stop my finger. Does the apple tree full of apples come? Does the bud? Does the tree? It's the bud. After, like I said, after the rain comes and after it gets some sunshine and after some time, it begins to grow and you start to see something coming out of the ground. Okay, we have 2 left. Who's next? The apple with the tree, or the tree with the apples, or the blank tree here? Which one? Tell me when to stop. Which one? It's this one. This is third. This is number 3, which leaves just one more. There's our tree with the apples. That's how an apple tree grows. Those are the stages of growth for an apple tree. First you plant the seeds, then it begins to grow out of the ground, then you get a big green tree, and then it produces some apples. But somebody has to play a really important role in there for us to get the apples. As I said at the apple orchard, first you get a little bit of a bud on the branch, then that becomes a flower, a blossom, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get an apple right away. Somebody has a very important job to do. You met him earlier this week. Let me bring back my triple B word, my bumblebee ball. Bumblebees have a lot to do. Bees have a lot to do with apples growing. They have such an important job. Did you know without bees we wouldn't get apples? I know they can be kind of scary. I know we all worried about getting stung, but we have to respect bees and take good care of them because they are so important. What a bee's job with an apple tree is, this is my apple blossom. It's a big one. This is my apple blossom sitting on the tree. The bee is going to come along. I'm going to make it a quadruple B word. You ready? Buzzing bumblebee ball. That's 4 bees. My buzzing bumblebee is going to come along, bzzz, and he's going to look inside the flower, and he's going to gather something called pollen. He's gathering the pollen, he's taking it out, and then he takes it to, he flies around, and he finds another blossom, and he goes into this blossom, and he distributes, he deposits or puts the pollen in there. So he's letting go of the pollen that he collected. Now, thanks, Bumblebee. We'll see you later. This is the blossom that he just blossomed, another B word. This is the blossom that he just put the pollen into. This is the one that he took it out of. So he took some from here and he put it into here. Now you know what's going to happen? This blossom will start to form an apple. Isn't that cool? This flowery blossom becomes an apple. When you have eaten an apple before, have you ever noticed, let's see if I got a good one here that you can see. Let's see if you can see on the bottom. You know how on the top it's got the stem, that's what holds it to the tree. Well, turn it over. That was part of the blossom. That little bit at the end, that used to be a beautiful flower on the tree, and now it's part of the apple that we eat. That is so cool. All right, I have my apple. Last week we talked about our 5 senses. I want to use my 5 senses today to see what I can see, smell, touch, hear, and taste with my apple. What I can see is pretty obvious. Tell me what you see. Take a good look at it. I'm going to turn it around a little bit. What color do you see? I see a few colors actually. It's pretty much red, obviously, but it's also, if you look closely, it's got some lighter patches, a little bit of brown. It actually has a little hole in it. I can see a little hole on this one. I'm going to smell them. Smells like a juicy apple. I would love to take a bite of it right now. If I did take a bite of it right now, you would hear a crunching sound. When I do this, he's pretty solid inside. I don't hear anything, but like I said, if I were to take a bite, you would hear a crunching sound. So I've seen it, I've smelled it, I've tasted it, I've listened to it, I'm also touching it. The apple itself is kind of hard and it's smooth, but if I touch the stem, that's hard and that's rough. That's not smooth up there, that's rough. I can use my 5 senses with apples. You can also use your 5 senses out in the apple orchard. If you go back out to the apple orchard, see all the different things there are to see. See if you see some bumblebees. Listen to the sound. Maybe you'll hear a bee buzzing. You'll hear children running and playing. Maybe you'll get a chance to taste an apple. You definitely can smell them and see them while you're there. Enjoy your 5 senses no matter what you're doing. All right, back to our apples. We're done with the 5 senses for now. Okay, we've done all of that with them. Now, I want to tell you about the different parts of an apple. This outside part, a lot of people don't like this, but I love the outside part. This is the skin. It's got a nice sweet taste to it. When you go inside the apple, you get something called the flesh. This is a green apple. That's the flesh in there. That's the part a lot of people like to eat. And we talked about the bottom part. We also talked about the seeds. I showed you a seed. Here's another one. Did you know seeds have a different name? Oh, they just don't want to stay in my hand. You can also call them pips. You can call those seeds pips. And then, of course, we have the stem at the top. Those are the parts of the apple. Now I want to take my apple and use it to tell you a story. Usually when we cut an apple, we do it one way. I'm going to show you something when you cut it a different way. Take an apple, round and red. Don't slice down, but across instead. Right inside it, you will see a star as pretty as can be. Can you see? If I take the apple, usually when we do it, we cut it down like this. But if you cut it across the middle, you have a star shape inside. Did you know that? Isn't that pretty cool? A 5-pointed star is inside of each apple, and that's where the seeds are. That's where they live. Now, once I've done this with my apple, I have a couple of choices. I can eat it, or I can make a picture with it. I could take my apple and I could dip it into some paint and then make a picture on paper. I could apple print or apple stamp. I could dip and print and dip and stamp and make a picture with my apples. So you can paint with your apples today if you would like to. That's always a fun thing to do. Okay, something else we're going to do. I'm going to put that guy aside for a minute. Something else we're going to do with our apples today. We are going to do another experiment. The other day we did an experiment with our leaves and our feather and our acorn and all kinds of fun things that I found on my fall walk. And you made predictions. You said what you thought would sink and what you thought would float. Today we're going to do a different experiment, and I want you to make some predictions again. But the thing is, last time we got our answers right away. Last time you decided, okay, the feather was going to float, and we put it in and we said, yes, it did float. Today isn't going to work that fast. Today we're going to make our predictions. We're going to start our experiment. Then we're going to have to be patient, and we're going to watch. And we're going to watch and watch and watch for several days to see what happens. You know how when you have an apple and your grown-up cuts your apple for you? If you don't eat it quickly, what happens to it? It starts to turn brown, doesn't it? And then sometimes, even though it tastes fine, sometimes we don't want to eat it because it looks a little different, looks a little funny. Well, I want to try an experiment with you. I have 3 jars. This jar is empty. I can turn it upside down. It just has air inside. This jar has water inside. You can see it floating around in there, so I'm not going to turn this one. This jar has vinegar inside, stinky vinegar. This one has vinegar inside. I am going to take 3 apples and put 1 into each one of my jars, and we're going to watch it together over the next few days to see what happens. Let's make a prediction first. Which one of these jars do you think the apple will rot faster in? Do you think it will rot faster in the vinegar, in the water, or in the air? Which one? Or do you think it won't rot at all? Or do you think they'll all rot at the same time? Let's find out. Let's put them in. I have a tray here, and in my tray, I've marked it. I've marked it for vinegar, water, and air. So let's take the air, put this here, and I'm just going to drop an apple inside. Okay, here he goes. He's going to spend the next few days living inside of there. Now, I got to make sure I have the right one. The next one is water. You know how I'm going to tell? By smelling it. Let's see. Yep, that's my water. Okay, good. Now I don't even have to smell the other one. I'm going to put the water right there. I'm going to take another piece of apple, and I'm going to put it, he's floating, like we saw the other day. He's floating. Then I'm going to take my vinegar, which I'm not going to smell because it smells yucky. And I'm going to put it right there, and I'm going to take another apple, number 3, and drop him in the vinegar. And look, he floats in vinegar too. So we are going to watch this. We'll come back tomorrow and the next day, and we'll watch our apples and see what's happening. So in the meantime, you guys can be thinking about it. What do you think is going to happen with those apples, and how fast are they going to rot? I'll keep you posted. I did make a little chart. You can make one at home too if you want to. My chart says apple experiment on it, and it says the 3 things that we put them in. It says air, water, and vinegar. And then going down the side here, I have day 1, day 2, and I'll add the rest of the days. What I'm going to do is something called observing. I'm going to watch them. I want to know what's happening to my apples. So every day when I get up and throughout the day, I'm going to come and I'm going to check my apples, and I'm going to make a note of what's happening. So for today, all I wrote down is that I put them in the jar. That's all that happened. I cut my apple and I put them in the jar. Tomorrow, I'll come back and look at each one, and I'll make a note. Are they turning brown? Did they stay the same? And I'll record it. And then on day 3, and then after 1 week, we'll come back and we'll look at all of our notes, and we'll see if we were right with our predictions or if we were wrong. We'll see what happened. All right, another science experiment has begun. I would like to leave you guys today with a few things that you can do on your own, that you can go off and do with your grown-ups, your brothers, your sisters, whoever you want to do it with, or even by yourself. One of the things that I like to do at apple time is, instead of taking the apples off the tree, I want to put them back on. So actually, I'm going to use this as a tray here. Let's use our chart as a tray. Okay, I have my apple tree. That's the trunk of my tree. And then I just took a piece of paper, and I cut it in the shape of an apple. And that's going to be the top of my tree. I'm just going to set it right there gently on the top. You know what? I have to switch hands. All right, so next, I also have some tongs. And I have some little pom-poms here. I had red and green ones at home, so I'm going to use those. If you don't have those, that's fine. If you have red paper, this is red tissue paper. You can have red construction paper, green, white, whatever you have. I'll crumple it up, and you can use that. And then I'm going to see how many apples I can get on my tree. Whoop, that one almost fell off right away. But it's a little more challenging if I use the tongs. So I'm going to grab an apple. There's 2 apples on my tree. There's 3 apples. Oh, they keep rolling. 3 apples on my tree. There's 4. I can't get another one. 5. And I could keep going and going. So that's something that you could do at home. And again, if you don't have pom-poms, that's fine. Use spread paper. Use whatever you do have. That's one thing you can go off and do when we're done with our time together today. Something else. Okay, I want to make a pattern with you guys. Let's see if you can guess what my pattern is. I'm going to start with that apple. I'm going to add that apple. Then I've got this one. Then I've got this one. Let's stop here for a second. Can you tell me what I'm making, what pattern I'm making? There's actually two. I could say I have red, green, red, green. So what would come next? Red, green, red, green, red would be next in my pattern. Do you notice another pattern that I have here? I have little, big, little, big, little. What would be next? Big. Very good. That's one way to make a pattern. Let's shake things up and try another way. What if I did like this? Let's see if you know what's going to come next. Okay, ready? I have red, red, green. Red, red, green should be next. Very good, you guys. Very good. So on Facebook, your grown-up can print off for you an apple pattern page that I have made for you. It looks like this. You grown-up can print this off and you guys can do it together. You can do it alone. You can finish the patterns. They probably look a little bit like the ones we just did, but there's some other ones too. You can use real apples to finish them off like I did. You can use crayons and color. If you have the pom-poms, you can put those on there, the red and green pom-poms, if I can turn it, and you can use those on there. And then at the bottom, it says, what apple patterns can you make? So you can turn your page over and you can make your own apple patterns. That's something you can do when we're done here. So you can make a tree. You can do your own apple experiment like we're doing and watch it at your house. You can do your patterns. One more thing that I want to show you that I have a lot of fun doing. I need my tray back. Let me clean off my tray here. You can make what I like to call apple structures. What I have for that are slices of apples and some toothpicks, okay? I don't know if you can see those. There's toothpicks here. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to put my toothpick in my apple, and then I'm going to maybe stick them this side too. You see that? Then I'm going to take another apple slice, and I'm going to put them up here. I can create. He's wobbling. Maybe it's a boat. What do you think it is? What do you want to make? Let me actually take another one and put it over here. Let me connect it this way, see if I can with just one hand. Sure enough, look at that. Maybe I can make a house, a square. You can make anything you want. You can take apple slices and toothpicks and create. I'd love to see what you guys make. That is so cool. All right, you guys, this was a lot of apple fun, but you know what? There's so many more things that I want to do with you that involve apples. We're going to come back again tomorrow and do more apple stuff. Apple fun never ends, you know? I hope you guys have a great day. Have fun doing some of the things that I showed you, and I'll see you tomorrow for more apple fun. Bye, guys.